Ty, Richard Allen, motorsportsreport.net. You were still pretty young when Dale Earnhardt drove for your grandfather. So kind of a two-part question. Have you watched the Earnhardt documentary? And then secondly, from a young kid's perspective, what was that time period like?
So my last week and a half have been quite busy since the documentary came out. I have not watched it yet. I do plan on it. The last documentary I watched was the one called Dale. That was probably, 15, 20 years ago. And like you said, I was very young during that time, but I just knew Dale from my perspective as the guy. When we were little and we were at the racetrack, he would come and bug my brother and I, whether it was pinching us behind the neck or grabbing us as hard as he could to get our attention. And we didn't really like that. We were kind of scared of him. But man, we grew up every weekend, and where Dale finished determined our week. We got pizza if Dale won. So that was a celebration in our house. And I was telling somebody a couple weeks ago, he won so often, and they were so amazing as a team. I remember being so spoiled that, like, hey man, I wish he would win at this track. He hasn't won at this track in a while. Instead of just the fact that he keeps winning over and over and over, it's like, well, it'll be okay. We'll be happier if he wins at this track. And just knowing that kind of perspective after being in the sport as a driver myself was crazy. But the impact he had on my grandfather, my family, and everybody at RCR, and what that has become because of him and my grandfather's relationship, obviously means so much to myself and our family and everybody in the sport. So, he was a giant in our sport and a legend, and it's just awesome that we continue to talk about him, and the documentary continues to bring his name to the light because he has done so much for what the sport is.
Ty was in here earlier. I'm not sure if you've seen the Earnhardt documentary yet, but he was sharing some Dale memories. What are some memories that you have from him still being around and winning when you were around?
Well, for me, I was still really young, but the intimidation factor was there when you were a kid even, and this larger than life hero walking around that everyone looked up to. And for me, probably the biggest memory was being in the 1998 Daytona 500 in Victory Lane and doing the hat dance and seeing all the happy people around for him going to, accomplishing winning the Daytona 500 after he tried so hard.